And now we got people that just don't care about anything. I don't get it.
We all join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Andy. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Adam, Jeremy, sorry. Yep.
You've all got your report in front of you. This April was busier than last, 141 last year, 180 this month for 9-1. Still averaged out to about 6 a day, which is about our yearly average. Times are all right where I like to see them. Our back in service times are a little extended, but whenever we take patients to Union or Carl, some of those throw off the averages a little bit. Anytime we go to Paris, we're usually back in service within that 15 minutes, so just some of those extended trips throw that average out a little bit. Classes, we taught 9 classes in April with a total of 54 students. My chest compression fraction down to quality was only 57.51. You see my goal is 90. We only had 2 cardiac arrests in April, and when one of them, the numbers were not great. It really throws those averages up. The other one was great, but then I had one that the numbers didn't look good. The crew was already, I've talked to the crew, we did some re-education, things we can do better, so hopefully I see those numbers come back up. Second page is our destination. Most patients are still going to Paris, but again, they do have their choice. Another things I have for you guys, we're promoting our emergency medical responder class right now. We're doing a free class for up to 20 responders. To offer that, it was primarily for all fire departments in the county to boost their EMR numbers. We honestly didn't have a lot of participation in that, so we opened it up to general community, so we're still taking applicants for that. We've got our high school numbers for next year. We have a full EMT class with 10, a full EMR class with 25, so we'll divide that EMR class into 2 semesters. And then our community EMT class, our next one, so this one right now is wrapping up, and we're getting ready to open up our applications are already open for fall. We're awarding 2 scholarships, so paying for 2 people to take that, and we've already got 8 applications for students. The AED program, we've got 30 applications for our AEDs we're giving out right now. We've got 10 this year we're going to give, but some good applicants in there between our 4 service counties, Clark, Coles, Edgar, and Vico. I've got 1 truck that remains out of service. It's my big crew cab. Unfortunately, that thing is hard to get parts for, so they are still trying to source parts. Still operational with 4 units. One of my trucks is going down to Missouri. Looking now like June for a remount. It'll be out of service for 3 months, but we'll still have at least 3. I'll still have my 3 main lines operational. And then I'm working with Jill and the other area emergency responders, starting our fire planning for this year. It's pretty much going to be a mirror last year, so I don't anticipate a lot of issues. Jeremy always comes down and helps us out a couple nights. My crews will be out there every night, and the big nights, fair and derby night, Jeremy comes down and helps us out as well. So. Any questions, comments, concerns for me? Okay.
Jeremy?
I sent my report. Augie should have that there for you somewhere.
It's in your board packet.
So, the numbers, we're running about 2 a day, 56 for April, so times are less than 2 minutes for the month, so we've been staying busy, so we've been doing some training with Chrisman PD and fire department there in the last couple months, so some of that helping them out more so than medical training, but end goal is to do some medical training with them as well. So,
Are the majority of your calls in Chrisman?
it varies. A lot of them, that's the majority of the population. So,
Right.
The majority of them probably are. I didn't really look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been to Metcalf, but then it seems like once you start going to Metcalf, you just keep going to Metcalf. So.
Mm-hmm. Do you are your people at the ambulance bay, so you
Yes.
have someone there all the time that
Yep.
can respond that quick?
Yeah, we're on station 24 hours a day.
Good.
If they,
Yeah, well, yeah. Food's important, I guess.
any questions of either of these gentlemen? Thank you, guys. So if you got a book it, we appreciate it.
See you later.
Thank you.
Want to remind everybody, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is the Core bi-weekly meeting on the 3 projects we've got going, so just wanted to remind you about that. Andy?
I stopped by the Diamond Brothers, they basically are pretty close to being done there.
For now.
For now, once the, donning that part of the insurance is done, then they'll come over and repaint any place that they missed. In the first one, actually, they moved all that damaged stuff out, and painted that
Oh, did they?
room. Yeah. So, he did find
Who's done?
the painters.
Oh, he got in here that quick?
Yep.
Oh, they were in there, we were surprised.
Oh, okay.
He called, he said, well, he thought he'd start, I guess, maybe last, or 2 weeks ago. And he said, I'll start the next week, and he called me and goes, I may start this Friday if you don't care. And so he went in and they started, and did a great job. They laid paper down, masked everything
Taped,
off.
yeah.
It looks nice in there. They got all the holes patched.
Good.
So,
And then the contractor,
Jewel, I met with him a couple times, and he's gonna come in. Did I give you that estimate? I've got that estimate.
you kept it.
Yeah, it's right around 8,000 something to put those 2 counters in, the door, which I thought was reasonable.
Change the door, then put the one in the back.
And put the one in the back too. So, and he talked like he would start, that was 2 weeks ago then, so it'd probably be in about a week or so, he thought he'd go ahead and start doing that. And that's putting the 1 counter with space behind it and coming down with a, what do you call it, wheelchair accessible counter.
Yeah,
and then
handicap.
Handicap counter. And that would have storage space behind that, so,
Yeah, they're 30-inch counters, I believe, right?
something like that. Yes, I mean, deep.
Yes.
Yeah, so they've got storage. He said that when he went out and talked to them, that was real important to the assessor's office to have a deep counter to store stuff. And Don said, well, if you're gonna make one, and if you're gonna do the one, you might as well do the other, so they match. And he said we could use that same setup, so I look for him to start that in a week or so. And I don't know if anybody's been up around the courthouse, that's some staging.
I watched them stand up there, I looked at Jesus. Ooh,
The slate got, there's a big semi full of slate there today.
yeah, I rode right by it,
Was there?
Mm-hmm.
I went by there this morning, I didn't see it.
on the west side.
We did meet with Harold Irwin and the lady, Kay Huff, and Jimmy Simpson were down there, and he's gonna get a hold of Coons. Harold said we could take that one tree that
We already have an estimate, and I can't remember what it was, but it
Okay.
was,
Coon came in.
yeah, it was like, I think 1,500 to clean all that stuff up.
Because Jimmy said, you just take it, put it in a pile, we'll clean the pile up. So they're gonna clean that all up back there. We do need to get someone in, I'll talk to Aaron about it. Or Jimmy, he said that, did he say, they don't do concrete, do they?
No,
So we have to get somebody, but I do think at some point, once we get that all cleaned up, you remember those 2 pipes that we saw coming out of Harold? Well, that's actually ours. Harold said they came down, Gopher came down and trenched that. That's what they told them to do, to put that in, because they were getting some leakage in the basement. So they put a drain along that wall to dump that water there, so.
Jimmy's gonna drop, Josh is gonna drop some points to find out where the drainage
Elevations
needs
and
to be.
stuff.
So we can know exactly what we need to do.
But, and then, so we're gonna get, that'll all get cleaned up back there. And at some point, we need to get somebody in there for Crown Creek, cause that one slab has just over the years gone toward the building. And there was a small leak in the ceiling where they
Yes.
painted, did you?
Yes,
And, he goes, it was leaking again this morning a little bit, so I just wanna point that out. I think that maybe in that transition
could be.
where the porch comes on, where the regular, it needs to,
Hopefully that roof will start to go on here in the next week or two.
is that, I said the guy spoke probably within this month would start that, so.
Yep.
Anyway, we're getting close to, once Gary gets in there, they can move in.
Did you get that little design about the room for the elevator stuff? We'll get it tomorrow morning.
I didn't see
But
it.
they have talked to Sycamore and rerouting that flue,
Okay,
and they've come up with even a more, I think, a better plan.
okay,
And so they've got that figured out, so
okay, good.
they've kind of jotted that down on paper.
So they're gonna move that flue and then put that in that little back room?
Right,
Okay, good. Okay,
and he's been working with the elevator guy that we had talked to,
okay.
so, okay?
I think that's all I got.
Did you speak to the fine folks at the library
Yeah.
Monday night?
No, I didn't Monday. I'm going this Thursday. They want to talk to me, so. She called me, I talked to Linda, and she said, asked if I'd come, talk to him, so I said, yeah.
I said you were definitely the better person. Linda Lane had asked, there's some program at the library, some group. And when I was there for the chamber meeting, we were talking about that and possible impact on the honeybee and such. And so she asked me if I would come talk to the group, and I said, no, really, that one should be Andy.
So that was, she didn't tell me that part of their concern is how that's gonna affect
That's
the
how,
honeybee?
that's what we were talking about.
Okay.
And then it just led to this group and wanting to know about the courthouse, and I said, well, you're the one that is more involved in that, and you know more of the history and design, and
Okay.
so. No, I don't think it's gonna be an attack Andy kind of thing,
I don't know, that's,
by
but
any means,
the
I
honeybee's kinda moved out to the fairground anyway, hadn't it?
think so.
No, the honeybee's downtown.
Honeybee's back downtown, there's nothing at the fairgrounds for that anymore.
Okay. They did that for, did they do that, or was that strictly the Shriners?
The Shriners are all out at the fairgrounds.
That's what one, okay.
And then
Okay.
the Honeybee was downtown, it was at the fairgrounds, and the Honeybee Antique Association, which did the fairgrounds, dissolved, what, two or 3 years ago?
Yeah, right.
And so now all of Honeybee is back
Back
downtown.
downtown, okay.
And what's the date on that? Is it the end of September?
Yeah, it's always generally the last week in
20s.
September.
Yeah, what, do we have a time frame on
I don't know, but I'll find out
tomorrow?
before
Need
Thursday.
to talk to them tomorrow,
Okay.
core.
Just a rough ballpark of
Yeah,
what they
this,
think.
you know, are you gonna be done by first September,
I
fall, late fall?
reported to the board already that they're planning on being done by the end of July,
Okay,
Okay,
for the roof,
okay,
okay.
okay? That's their plan.
yeah,
Weather
right,
may cause an issue, but
yeah.
they've got it all, you know, the linear chart.
So if everything goes as planned, they'll be out of there
They'll be out.
before honeybee,
Okay,
And that means putting everything back,
right?
you know,
Mhm.
removing all the dirt and
the gravel.
gravel, rock, that's right.
Well, they put plot or fabric down, so
Yeah.
it'll clean up relatively easy. But then you have to reseed it. Then we gotta look at sidewalk repairs and things in there, so. Okay,
Any other? Daniel?
I stopped in and talked to Andrew last week. Told you problem with Tony. And I think she said they got a second door in, so I have one more to go, so we got 2 of the 3 doors in. And she did talk to Farina about the, food, but haven't heard anything from that yet, so.
Okay, good.
So other than that, they're basically doing all right. So,
Russ? Carl? Phil, do you have any reports on what the committee did today or anything?
what did today?
The Education
I'll let
Association.
you know that next month when they have a meeting.
Oh, I thought you
I
didn't
did,
hear
no,
that.
it's next month, it's not today.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that part of
Suffering
it.
from the dumbass disease thing.
Who, you or me?
I walked in there and Kyle said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, where's the meeting?" He says, "Here, next month." So I said, "See ya." I just misread the letter they sent me. They don't usually send it a month ahead though.
I did
Trying to
that.
find an excuse and I haven't got any.
Age.
I did it on a smaller scale.
Let's just say I got home faster than I went over there.
Okay, Lisa,
Pitiful.
You don't have anything, Jesus, that's
the,
unusual.
the
Wait,
one
wait
thing,
a minute.
Wait a minute.
No, this can't be. Go ahead,
Say
get
it.
started.
Brokaw sent a thing to him saying, reminded him that we needed I saw you would ask additional questions. I don't know whether there's time for him to review all those or add it later.
Yeah,
But I said we needed to have a final copy so that the board could review it, because we're gonna be passing it on the 22nd. So if you could let Peggy know that too, that would be good. So
Okay.
she probably, she's his assistant and probably keeps him in line, I'm guessing.
all right, so what we're speaking about is I fielded a call this week from a consultant wanting to know if we had an ordinance revolving battery storage for a solar system, which I said, no. And so, the nice thing is, and I've talked to some consultants before, is they tend to give you more education and they're not there for the hard sell. And so she did enlighten me on some of that, and she said, it usually will involve a 15 to 20 acre system. And this company that she's calling on behalf of is interested in Edgar County. And she said, so the battery, they like to locate somewhere close to a substation. And the battery system that they have will look basically like a big generator. And she said that there had been a battery fire several years ago at a facility in Virginia. So she said you may hear some negative publicity on that, to which I just said thank you for the information. And then I emailed Peggy, who's my contact that works for the attorney, just to ask her if he had any language or any suggestions that we could add that to the ordinance. So, as Jeff said, it's not imperative that we have that in, if that would slow them down from getting it to us to look at prior to May 22nd for our meeting to approve the ordinances. I haven't heard anything otherwise from the attorney or from Peg.
When do you leave?
Tomorrow morning,
Well, maybe you could,
I'll send Peg an email. this
yeah, say
afternoon, saying
before,
don't let that hold us up.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Public Health Department, they meet on Wednesday, I won't be there. I reminded Rodney and Dina to please, make sure or ask why, if not, they have actual study on, affordability of paying more for a dentist. Again, I don't think any of us are opposed to them increasing the amount of salary they offer a dentist, but I do think that, yes, I think we can handle it, is inadequate. So, that's what the one thing that I am hoping on this next health department meeting, next next week. 708 board, I'll be missing that, but that's not a big issue. They help the Human Resources Department run their.
When is
Smoothly.
708 coming, Augie? Is that June meeting?
Yes, yeah. Well, with Jonathan,
Right,
708, okay.
yeah,
I didn't know
I'm
if
sorry.
It was HRC.
HRC, pardon me.
Okay,
It just
Yeah.
reminded me of that. They're
S-
gonna make a presentation at the study session, right?
that's what we
Right.
talked about. Next month.
Sorry.
That's all right. Broadband, some members of the faithful committee of 7 or 8, some of them feel pretty strongly that we should seek out interest from Interstar on becoming involved in broadband expansion. And I think I've mentioned to you before that there are some other states and counties that their rural electric has been a leader or the driver for broadband expansion and the running the program. And so I did send an email out to Mr. Clinton, the CEO, and asking if we could be put on the agenda for the June 3rd annual meeting, to which he responded, and I thoroughly understand that he would like to know more about it rather than being, hijacked. And so Angie Garwood is working to put together a pretty quick meeting, because we were already going to be meeting on the 25th. But we are thinking we should invite him to come to our committee meeting on the 25th. So she's trying to get the group together so that we can have a more formalized plan for what we would be asking Interstar to do. So they're trying to get that together since it rained. So, and that's all I have.
Questions? So we'll try to get you copies of the two ordinances ASAP. I mean, I don't know how successful, but it's only 2 weeks from today. So we've got to have something. I mean, you have copies of what we sent them, but their comments, I'm sure you'd like to see them, so. All right, airport. The bid got opened on the main runway resurfacing. Originally, several years ago, that was scheduled to be 1.4 million. Of course, their estimate for this round, with everything that's gone on since COVID, it came in at 2.3 million. So our share has gone from roughly 70,000 to 120,000. I met with our banker last week before I left, and we've actually been paying, we had some money that we borrowed to do projects. And it's funny, we've actually got the full amount in CDs and we have one payment left. So we've got enough to cover that cost. But I wanted to make you aware of what it's gonna be. The thing is, it was 15% over estimate, and the state of Illinois would have to approve, Division of Aeronautics would have to approve the 15%. But our engineer goes, every time we don't do something and we rebid it, it just keeps getting higher and higher. So, the last time it really hurt us because we had to drop one apron off and it still was more expensive. So it's just nuts.
What's our share?
5%, 120 grand.
120.
Yeah, it's like 119,000, Carl, so. At any rate, that is available to us. We won't have to make payments on part of it because we've already made 4 years worth of $22,000 worth of payments. So we've paid 88,000 against 99, so we're coming down to the wire. So at any rate, want to make you aware of that. Want to remind you again about tomorrow morning if you want to be here at 10 o'clock for the core meeting, which will cover the elevator, the courthouse roof, and the jail. I think Josh has got just about everything into them, and for the USDA grant or loan. Seemed like there was something else. I guess that's it right now. Oh, I wanted to add something. Jimmy had talked to a company about sealing the parking lot and doing the lines, strips, whatever it's called.
Striping.
Yeah, at any rate, he's gonna get a quote on that. So we'll be able, not that we wanna do it maybe right away, but at least have it available.
Is he getting a price for just our half, or is he getting a price for the whole thing to see if they wanna do?
We talked about that, and what we wanted to see is we let them next door know and make sure that if they wanna participate, we share it somehow. okay, so they could get it all done at the same time.
Do you want me to go talk to them to
Yes.
see if they're interested?
See, yeah, and
Right.
tell them we're gonna get a quote,
All right,
and that way you'd let Jimmy or whatever me know, and I'll let them know that we're talking about the whole thing,
yeah,
which makes sense, and we wanna be good neighbors, I guess they
Right.
were good neighbors all the way along, and we
Right.
wanna make sure we do that.
well, I talked to them several weeks ago and told them about that, and they said absolutely, we'll
Yeah.
work together.
Yeah, and even with snow removal,
Right,
all that stuff, it just makes sense to cooperate. I guess that's it right now. So, anything else we need to discuss this morning? Okay, motion to adjourn? Russ actually made the motion, Andy seconded. Russ got in there. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay, same sign. We'll see you on Wednesday morning. Some of us will be in Ireland.